What's up, world? Welcome back to Cancel Thoughts. It's your boy, Better Days here. I've been losing a lot of respect for some of the political commentators and online personalities that I used to have a lot of respect for very recently. And it started off really with people like Ben Shapiro and Jordan Peterson, especially when the Daily Wire let go of Candace Owens last year over the Israel-Palestine thing. And I've kind of noticed that it is really all kind of centered around the Israel versus Palestine thing. And very recently, I noticed that I started losing some respect for a guy named Douglas Murray as well. And I'm pretty sure if you guys are tuning into this video, you guys have all seen the Joe Rogan Experience where he was supposedly supposed to be debating Dave Smith over it, but it really turned out to be one of probably the worst Joe Rogan episodes I've ever seen, because he just kind of was going all over the place with arguments that nobody was necessarily arguing. He was trying to do these ad hominem attacks that I'm not necessarily going to show you guys, but I want to show you guys this clip today of him going on the Bill Maher show or whatever, where he kind of just like talks a little bit more and elaborates on what he was trying to say, which I think is still just more confusing than not. But before we get into it, you guys already know I'm about to ask you guys to do me a solid and hit that like and subscribe button for more content. I'm trying to make sure as many people find this channel as possible, and the only way I'm gonna do that is with you guys' help.
You were on Joe Rogan a couple of days ago, a week ago, something like that. It got a lot of press, and I'm glad you said what you said, which is, I like Joe, but he has on people who entertain these crazy conspiracy theories and doesn't really push back on them. It's okay to have, I'm a free speech absolutist pretty much, but there seems to be no pushback on this. And of course, what's going on in this country, what we're going to probably be talking about here on the panel in a minute, this kind of encroaching fascism. I mean, I was using the term slow-moving coup before he got elected the first time.
One of the issues that I have with the way they even package this stuff is that, like, well, these are just conspiracy theorists. And listen, anybody who watches Joe Rogan or has watched him for any extended period of time will know that that's literally his whole thing. He talks to whoever he wants to talk to, and if they're conspiracy theories or whatever,
nobody cares.
He talks to them anyway, and he does have some pushback for him. But to go out there and say, well, he has these conspiracy theorists on, would kind of imply that some of the stuff that they're saying isn't true. And to me, again, these are just ad hominem things. What you guys need to be doing is debating the points that they're actually making and refuting them. And if you can't,
shut the fuck up.
Well, the right, clearly, I mean, it's always interesting to see what happens at the point of victory. What do you do with your victory? And if those people on the American right who are now in the ascendant, if they decide that they want to use their point of victory to, for instance, lie about the origins of the Russia-Ukraine war, or lie about the nature of Hamas, or lie about the state of Israel, or lie about history. I mean, the reason I did this pushback was, I mean, you just have to. I mean, you just have to, in my view. It's basic social hygiene.
Everything he said there so far is very vague. Lie about the history of the Hamas war, lie about the state of Israel, lie about the whole war in Ukraine. They're all very vague things. Say exactly what they're lying about so that we can actually refute these things. And one of the issues that I had with that, even his appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience, was that he was just trying to argue these things that people weren't arguing. He kept saying stuff like, well, these aren't the experts, and these guys are just coming on here and saying they're comedians or whatever. And it's just like,
what does that have to do with anything?
To me, again, they're ad hominem attacks for you to try to essentially character assassinate these people to make it look like they shouldn't be listened to when they're saying very appropriate things. Nobody is saying that the Israeli people don't have gripes. Nobody's saying that the Palestinian people don't have gripes. What we're saying is we don't like to see American taxpayer dollars going to fund these wars, number one. But number two, if they are going to fund these wars, we can have disagreements about how that's being funded and how these wars are being implemented, especially when you see innocent people dying.
If you've got somebody who's coming along who pretends to be a historian, who then can always do the thing of saying, oh, I actually don't call myself a historian, it's just other people I allow to call me a historian. I'm not a car mechanic, but if I kept on being introduced as a car mechanic, I would say, oh, no, you got the wrong guy. So they don't mind it. They don't mind it. They have this slip out. These people that I was trying to call out on Joe's show, they are doing things like Hitler wasn't that much of an anti-Semite. Main problem in the 20th century was Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill was the warmonger. Adolf Hitler wanted peace. And look, it's a matter of social hygiene. Don't feed me this shit.
Who is doing that? Maybe I'm not privy to these people and maybe I just haven't seen it. So somebody let me know in the comments down below. But if anybody is doing that, that is obviously insane. But again, I don't think people are doing that. I think this is just a made up thing that you're doing in your mind with a lot of people. And this is something that I've noticed about both people on the right and on the left, in that if they're really, really passionate about something and you disagree with them, they will just come up with these like lunatic kind of takes where they'll go, well, these people are doing these things that a lot of people are just not seeing and a lot of people don't agree with. Obviously, everybody knows that Adolf Hitler was an anti-Semite. Obviously, everybody knows he was an evil person. The dude was literally genociding millions of people. Who in their right mind is saying, well, he's not that bad? Like, point me to these people and I will come on here and I will just like completely condemn them in any way that I can. But I'm not seeing anybody do this. All people are saying is, guys, it is very appropriate for us to ask the question of, why are you bombing children and innocent people? If you guys have a problem with Hamas, cool, have a problem with them, but you shouldn't be having all of these casualties, especially of innocent people, when you're saying that, well, the only reason we're doing this is because we're retaliating against the attacks that we've had. And guys, I've had people in my comment section go out and say, well, where's the empathy for the Israeli people? No one is saying Israeli people don't deserve empathy. Everybody deserves empathy. What we're saying is there are two sides to this. Yes, you guys should get the empathy that you want in terms of your innocents dying. Absolutely. No one is trying to argue that point whatsoever, but there's another side to this where other people are also innocent and they're dying as well. So you can't just tell us to completely ignore this stuff just because your side is the one perpetrating it.
And this is all. And you know, there's obviously this crossover between the people who are just trolls. They say this because they think it's really fun to do the Jewish question, to do like a bit of Holocaust denial, a bit of Hitler praise, a bit of Churchill degradation. They think it's kind of funny. What they're watering and what's going to come up underneath them are going to be people who believe this rot. And a lot of people, you can clearly see on the right at the moment, are very happy if you can denigrate the tradition of Winston Churchill and pretend that Adolf Hitler wasn't so bad, because then you can do things like Christian nationalism.
Who is denying the Holocaust? It's quite literally a part of history that we all know happened. Who is saying that wasn't a bad thing? I'm not seeing it anywhere.
You can do really, really tough nationalist stuff. They basically
You can buy Kanye albums.
That's the last stage. That's like the ultimate.
And to be honest, if this gives rise to people who are actually Holocaust deniers, then people like me are going to come on the internet and disparage them too. Like, I don't understand what your line of argument is here, but I want to show you guys this second clip because this one is actually really funny, because Douglas Murray was essentially like talking about how these people aren't experts or whatever, but then a clip resurfaced of like kind of a compilation of him essentially disproving his own argument and showing himself out to be a hypocrite. So I kind of want to show you guys that too before I end out.
Have you been to the crossing points? I really resent that form of argumentation. When were you last there at all? Sure. I really resent it. You should at least do the courtesy of visiting it. This is not an attractive invitation. I think it's a good idea to see stuff, particularly if you spend a career talking about something. I have the right to talk about whatever the hell I want, and no one's going to stop me or try to intimidate me. And I think that if I said to somebody else the other way around, it would be equally reprehensible.
The fact that he didn't actually even know that this clips were out there, and he actually went on the Joe Rogan Experience, which is the largest podcast in the world, and he said some of the things that he said against Dave Smith. I think Dave Smith has even come out himself and said he didn't even necessarily think Douglas Murray was there to even debate him, because it's an undefensible point. To say that, well, the Israeli people have the right to just massacre and genocide people, and I'm not on either side of this, so I don't necessarily want people to think that I'm supporting Palestine or supporting Israel. I'm on the side of America in terms of I don't want our tax dollars to be going here. But to say that people are out here supporting the Palestinian people because they don't necessarily know the history or whatever, and the Israeli people are really misunderstood people because they are just like defending themselves, no, that's not exactly what's happening here, at least from what I've seen. What I've seen is that yes, sure, they may be defending themselves in some sense of that like term or whatever, but the other thing that I'm noticing is that they're taking this a little too far. When you start talking about blowing up buildings with innocent people in it just because you thought that there were people from Hamas also in that building, it's like, okay, let's say I grant your premise that there were the people of Hamas in there,
which is fine.
that doesn't excuse the fact that the innocent people were also there and you killed those people too. Like, I don't understand how that's even debatable. And for Douglas Murray to completely just ignore this fact and to go, well, there are anti-Semites out there, I'm just like, yo, what are you talking about, bro? You're too smart for this. And this is why I feel like a lot of the people on the right who are actually arguing this point are compromised in some way, shape, or form, because there's no way you guys could have spent the past few years arguing the points that you guys have been arguing and then just do this about face literally before our very eyes on this one issue.
It doesn't make sense.
I have a journalistic rule of trying never to talk about a country even in passing unless I've at least been there. If I said, shut up, you have no right to criticize anything that Douglas Murray says, because hang on, you're talking about crossing points. And not only have you never been to a crossing point in either Egypt or in Israel, but you've never even been to the region. Okay, it's not an exact comparison, but seriously, is that a reasonable form of argument? No. In that case, nobody can talk about anything. We might as well pack up, go home, and isolate ourselves.
And that's literally the point that Dave Smith was making the entire time. And you obviously hold these perspectives as well. So I don't even necessarily want to play the rest of this video because it's just him literally contradicting himself. It's just, to me, this is very, very apparent that there are very powerful, influential people that some of these people are bending a knee to, especially when it comes to the political right in America in terms of just like their stance on this Israel thing, because it doesn't make any sense to me. You guys are too smart to be going out here talking about, well, people are just anti-Semitic because they're asking questions about what exactly is going on with our tax dollars, number one. But number two, the fact that it seems like America just has this straight up unwillingness to condemn some of the stuff that we're seeing from a nation that is clearly not our own, doesn't necessarily have our best interests at heart. For us to question this stuff and just be called anti-Semites or whatever, it makes no sense. But
it is what it is.
Those are just my thoughts on it, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What did you guys think of the whole Douglas Murray thing, and how did you guys feel about the Joe Rogan Experience and him essentially not even debating Dave Smith whatsoever? I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below. As always, I want to thank you guys for joining me on this video. You guys could have been anywhere else in the world, but you chose to be here with me, and I really do appreciate you. If you liked what you heard today, do me a solid and like the video, share the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. Those things really do help out the channel a lot, guys. And if you didn't like what you heard, thanks for allowing me to occupy your time. Consider leaving a comment in the comments down below, letting me know exactly what it was that you disagreed with, and maybe we could talk about it. Either way, I appreciate each and every one of you guys for pressing play on this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.